politics is just slavery for the upper class. Politics is just advanced slavery. Do you know what I mean by that? What I mean is that we are all slaves. You and I have had a 9-to-5 job. We have been part of the system. We have been contributing to the system. We've been paying taxes, whether you work in an office, whether you work in a supermarket, whether you build houses. Ultimately, we work for a valueless fiat currency that is printed out of thin air by elitist bankers that funded both sides of World War I, or all sides of World War I and World War II, in order to destroy civilization and create this new world order. And what that means is that in this fake democracy that they gave us after World War II, the people that are contributing to this and playing a role in it and who are actors in it and who are performers in it are slaves just like you and I. Just like the people that work for a supermarket, who work in an office, who are paying taxes and contributing and having their energy harvested for a fake currency. Those people are having their energy harvested for a fake democracy. The analogy that I used yesterday on my live stream on TikTok, which eventually got banned, was like this. We are slaves playing on a PlayStation 3. We might have a regular car, we have a regular house, we have a regular family, and we have a regular life. We don't interact with celebrities on a regular basis. We aren't clouted. We don't have notoriety. We aren't leaving a monumental legacy or a perceived monumental legacy for the future. And thus, we are just average, unimpressive slaves contributing in this way where it's kind of part of the system. And then you have the advanced, that's like a PS3, you're playing on a PS3. That's your not so glamorous life with not a car that isn't so fast. But then there's the advanced slaves, which are the politicians and the people that are in the media. And especially this sort of new wave of media that we're seeing from coming out of the UK, the right-wing nationalist media, which is that they get some notoriety and they talk to people like Rupert Lowe and Nigel Farage, and they have interviews with Zach Polanski, and they might drive a nice car, and they might be with other people who are driving nice cars, and they're getting a lot of engagement on X, and they're making a lot of money, but ultimately they are still slaves. So they are slaves on a PS5. It's a slightly better version of the slavery that we are witnessing and we are part of, but ultimately, principally, you are still a slave for the New World Order, because that's what our fake democracy represents, is slavery, is give up your vote, give up your energy, give up your time for this Zionist con man that we've already groomed in advance to sell you down the river and impose the New World Order for us, no matter really how the situation is in your country. Yesterday I saw a video which kind of annoyed me, and it kind of shows you why people are falling into this trap of slavery. It was a video posted by Will Coleshill, which is a Vox Populi journalist, and he was interviewing somebody who represents Restore Britain. And I'm going to play you a little bit of this clip on what he said, and try and understand why this is annoying, right?
This is our last chance. The way things are going, let's say Reform gets in next election, which I know a lot of people think.
So he says this is our last chance, and I don't know why you would say that to the electorate, to the voters, because this is something that they say every single time, particularly in America, but they also do in this country. This is a really important election. You got to go out because this is so important. They even say it about the local elections. They say you must go out. This is so important. The opposition are the worst people in the world. You see? But I'll keep going.
Nigel Farage is the answer. It's going to be like the Conservatives all over again. You vote Reform.
So you're saying that Nigel Farage is going to be like the Conservatives all over again, but you're in support of Restore Britain and Rupert Lowe, who was literally like trying to do deals with the Tories. Charlie Downs was trying to work with the Tories. Rupert Lowe says he's a Tory. He's trying to get people like Jacob Rees-Mogg in the party. He has this viewpoint of legal migration that is effectively the same as the Tories, if not the exact same, and Reform. So you just they convince themselves of this rhetoric and this ideology so that they can be slaves. But it gets worse. It gets a lot worse.
We're gonna get more of the same. That's it. This is the last chance. People should come out. Yeah, for sure. Or don't. Or just, sit and scroll and just lose everything. Lose everything your ancestors have ever worked for and doom your descendants to just decline and social, cultural degeneration.
So come out and campaign for Restore Britain and Rupert Lowe, or sell out everything that your ancestors fought for and just sit there on your phone and doom scroll. Like, I don't think you understand how much this annoys me, because it's like you are insulting my intelligence when you say that. When you say to somebody, oh, you're not going to get on the ground and canvass for Restore Britain and Rupert Lowe, who is totally different to the Tories and Reform UK. Oh, well, you're going to sacrifice everything your ancestors built for you. It's like, or I'm not a complete idiot and I know how to research, and therefore I've got extreme skepticism and I'm extremely suspicious of Rupert Lowe and this party. Sorry. You are insulting my intelligence when you say something like that. And really, you are a slave, as I've said, participating in the farcical democracy that we have, that was given to us by the New World Order after World War I and World War II. And it's like, so you're telling me that if I don't get on the ground and I don't use my energy and what I've got to give, if I don't get on the ground and convince people to vote for a Zionist con man who was in business with Rishi Sunak's wife, where the business went bust after taking taxpayer money, who invests in net zero companies, who's endorsed by Elon Musk and Tommy Robinson, and was a failure at Southampton and was groomed in the City of London in investment banking after getting a degree in estate management at Reading University, that I am a traitor to my ancestors? You are a traitor to our ancestors. Our ancestors would look at you as a pathetic, weak slave that eats all of the propaganda that you are given by your oppressor. Do you understand? It is not I that needs to get off my phone and get up and do shit. It is you that needs to stop participating in the advanced slavery. Because that video is this Restore, I don't know who it is, but it's this Restore guy on camera. That's what it is. That's what it is for these people. They're on camera. They get money. They get interviewed by these journalists. They network. Montgomery Toms, who's a Jewish liberal, by the way, who's like in this picture, behind Rupert Lowe in the car. You've just got, you know how you see those pictures of handlers, like Nigel Farage has his handler, Donald Trump has his handler. There's this picture of Rupert Lowe with a guy who looks like a handler behind him, and it's Montgomery Toms, a Jewish liberal. And it's like, okay, so if I don't get behind the guy who's being fucking promoted relentlessly by Jewish liberals, people like young Bob, intellectually bankrupt people like Angloid and people like Carl Benjamin, and then endorsed by the very deep state that currently oppresses us, like Elon Musk and Tommy Robinson, then I'm going against my ancestors. What on earth? What on earth? Montgomery Toms is just literally sat there in the Restore Britain meeting next to Rupert Lowe on a Saturday, and he says, Angloid, coffee please, because Angloid's a Shabbos goy. Do you get it? Because it's a Saturday. So stop being a slave to the political system, all of you people. I mean, I know you're not going to, because it gives you your nice car, your engagement, and your life in front of the camera, and your legacy, your perceived legacy. But this is what needs to end. This is what needs to end if there's going to be any real organic movement and change from Britain. Thank you.